which defines the responsibilities and duties of care staff that you're going to supply. So what staff members are you going to supply? How many? What are their qualifications? What experience do they have? Who's going to be managing that team? What qualifications do they have to show evidence that they're able to manage a team effectively, to be able to deliver the service and be able to spot when things are going wrong so that they can act quickly? So who will be responsible for that? So you want to outline the scope of service that you're going to provide, such as the patient care, the medication, for example, the companionship, or any specialized care for a particular condition. You want to specify any additional requirements that are preferable to the buyer, such as it could be culture consideration, for example, language proficiency or specialized training needs that your staff members have undertaken as well. You want to clearly articulate the expectations regarding the staff availability, scheduling, flexibility, and communication protocols. Timeline and milestones. Develop a timeline outline. Make sure that you look at this and really go through the contract, the period, the staff recruitment, your onboarding, making sure that everything is clear, okay? That the timelines for submitting candidate profiles, conducting interview, finalizing staff assignments. You want to define that benchmark for performance evaluation, quality assurance with regular check-in and reviews to ensure alignment with the buyer's expectations. Because the buyer, when you're looking at applying for a contract, there may be a time where they say, right, I want to come and see you, or we're going to do a Zoom meeting and I want you to tell me how you're going to deliver what you just said that you can deliver, for example. So be aware of what the buyer wants and make sure that what is in the contract that you've put in is what you've actually going to do and deliver. Make sure that you've got all the systems in place that's going to show that you have done that and evidence of that you've done it. There's no point just talking about it. What is the evidence that you've got? So you want to also look at the contingency plans for addressing any staff shortages or emergencies to minimize any disruptions to the service. So the next thing now I'm going to talk about is budget and pricing. So you want to always be transparent, for example, and you always want to look at what is the competitive pricing for the service that you want to deliver. So taking into account the staff salaries, the benefits, the overhead costs, the profit margins. You want to break down the structure. You want a pricing structure to illustrate the cost per hour or shift, for example. Could be what is the rate, like I mentioned to you about the hourly charge, then the percentage on top of what you would charge, the additional fees, charges for any specialized services, or if there's any overtime, what will the charge then, for example. Offer flexible pricing options such as volumes for long-term contracts or customized pricing based on specific client needs. You want to clearly outline any terms and conditions related to payment schedules, invoicing, procedures and penalties for late payments or cancellations. Compelling value proposition. You want to highlight the unique value that you provide your care staff and the services. You want to emphasize on the qualities that sets you apart from the competitors. Showcase the qualifications, experience, credentials of your staff members, including any specialized training or certification that they may have. It's so important that you look at emphasizing the commitment to quality care, patient safety, and customer service. What case studies do you have, or performance metrics that you can demonstrate the ability to adapt to any change in needs, delivery personalized solutions that exceed the buyer's expectations? You want to articulate the benefits of partnering with your agency, such as reliability, flexibility, responsiveness, peace of mind, of knowing that the staffing needs are capable of meeting the needs and they're in safe hands, basically. So, when a care agency applies for a contract, you must ensure its pricing strategies are both satisfactory and it meets the buyer's needs and it maintains profitability for you. It's so important that you do this, because it's not about being the cheapest, it's about, can you actually do this? Can you deliver it? But can you do it at a price that is going to be beneficial to your staff and to you? Because if you're going to go in at a low price, that means that the staff members are getting a lower rate as well. So be mindful of that. The larger organizations, they can do that, but the smaller you are, you can't really, try and compete with a larger organization. So it's crucial that you strike the right balance between offering competitive prices that attracts clients and ensuring that you have got profitability to sustain your business. While undercutting competitors, you may win short term, but long term, the financial strain will be too much. You're going to compromise on service and quality in the long run. So pricing should not be at a level that reflects the value of the services provided, while also you're generating sufficient revenue to cover cost and also have a reasonable profit margin. There's nothing wrong with that. So various pricing models. So cost plus pricing. This model, it involves calculating the cost of providing care services and adding a markup to cover overheads, expenses and profits, for example. It ensures that all costs are covered and provides transparency to the clients. So for example, you've got to break down the hourly rate for each item. For a staff member, for example, what your rates are, how much does it cost you what are your expenses, what are your office expenses, telephone, mobile, taxes, etc. All these have to be put into your cost. So now we're going to go into value-based pricing. This model focuses on perceived value of care services to the client rather than the cost of production. Agencies, you can set the prices based on unique benefits and outcomes that deliver aligning pricing with the value received by the client. So competitive pricing, this involves service based on market rates and competitive pricing. And again, it's okay to be competitive, but it's essential again to justify why you're charging the prices that you're charging. And if you're charging a premium price, then you have to discuss why that is, that you've got highly qualified staff. Your percentage of staff are, say, 80% are over level 3 in care, for example. I'm just using that as an example. So you need to think about what the factors are. What is the market demand? Agencies, you should assess the demand for care services in your targeted area and adjust your price accordingly. High demand may allow for higher price. Remember I said about the 2%? Look at offering a higher price, because there's going to be the saturated markets where there's a competitive price and the cost and the margin is so small that you may not see much of a benefit for you having all the stress of running a healthcare business, for example. So cost structure is important. Understanding the cost structure and providing the care service. It's essential for you to set the prices. So costs may involve staff salaries, administrative expenses, overheads, and any additional investments that are required to maintain the service quality. So perceived pricing, this should reflect the perceived value of the care services to the client. Agencies can enhance perceived value through quality improvement initiatives, specialized service, and exceptional customer experience, for example. So as a care agency, to be successful, you want to apply for a contract. It must develop pricing strategies and strike a balance between competitiveness and profitability. It's got to be equal. This involves exploring various pricing models, depending on the organization that you are working with, for example, because you don't want to be going too low and then find out 6 months down the line, I'm struggling here. Yeah? So just think you're a small business. Don't try and compete with the bigger companies. You're not ready for that yet. So look at your analyzing your markets, conducting thorough research, and prevailing market rates for care services in your target area. And this may include analyzing pricing data from competitors and benchmarking, understanding the pricing strategies of your competitors, including any discounts, promotions, or packages, deals that they offer. Find out what that is. Go and look and see what your competitors are doing, because you're missing out if you haven't done that. Use this information to position your bids competitively in the market while you're offering a value-added service that's different from your competitors. You want to understand what your cost structure is. By evaluating the agency cost structure, you'll determine the expenses associated with providing care services. And this could include direct salaries, for example, training, supplies, as well as indirect costs such as administrative overheads. You want to calculate the break-even point and the desired profit margin for each bid to ensure that pricing covers all costs while generating a reasonable profit. Because sometimes people will knock you down, but if you start off high, then you're still going to be meeting higher than what you expected. You're not just doing it to break even, just to prove a point, for example. So identify areas where costs can be optimized without compromising the service quality to improve competitiveness. So this could include specialized care programs. I talked about this, where you could provide additional training for staff. There's also technology. You can also look at telehealth, which is, it's out now, so maybe some of you are qualified to do that. What personalized care plans can you do that's really tailored to individual client needs? Highlight these values added services in your bids to demonstrate the unique benefits of clients that will receive by them using and choosing your agencies over your competitors. Offer flexible pricing options. Recognize the difference. Clients have varying budget constraints, preferences, so offering a flexible pricing option can increase competitiveness. This can involve tied pricing structures of care needed, allowing clients to choose this option that best fits their needs and their budgets. So consider discounts for long-term contracts or bundled services incentives. Negotiate tactics. Look at this as an essential skill for your care agency to secure favorable contracts. You want to build strong partnerships and achieve mutual benefit outcomes.